85% of the photos used online are stolen. There is a market, but it's broken. We couldn't fix this in a small corner of the earth in Sweden, Apple, where everyone was taking a bite and we didn't really see us fit in there. Mistakes are done because I think I know the reality. You should do a lot of mistakes, and everything is developing into something really big. It was like dollar signs in our eyes. It's like, wow, there's 1 billion users. I see that Microsoft is unique in that sense. It ends up with the Microsoft as a winner.
Could you tell us a bit more about yourself?
I come from the creative parts of the market, but I became like more convinced that you need to do things in reality to see what really happens. So I'm partly doing the strategic stuff in my head, but also the creative. And I partnered up with my colleague Matthias like 10 years ago. We are so different, but we share the same like human forces that we want to do something, we want to change the world in some sense. We try things, see if something happens, and then we go from there.
Could you maybe tell me a bit more about your company and your product?
Basically, it's a photo market. So we are taking this in steps, but what we see is that there is a huge trend or phenomena in sharing photos. And we saw this, and everyone has seen that, of course, a couple of years now. And we also see people using photos a lot to communicate in many different ways. But we also know for a fact that 85% of the photos used online are stolen. There is a market, but it's broken. It doesn't work. We saw a lot of nice, really nice photo communities. We saw all these image banks that are growing and are really offering a good service, but it's more for the professional buyers. And on the other side, when it comes to photo communities, we saw that they more were into sharing photos, comment photos, but the users, the people that goes to Google or Bing for that reason, they just want a photo. So we saw that there is something broken here. And we understood at the same time that we couldn't fix this in a small corner of the earth in Sweden. We needed to be where the users are, and we needed to be global, big from the start. We did some tests, and we saw that we got some take-up. And when we saw that, we also realized that we need to be somewhere with someone that is much more bigger than we are. And then we saw, like I said, the Apple, where everyone was taking a bite, and we didn't really see us fit in there. And then we saw Google on the other side, and we didn't see that we really fit in there either because we didn't see the users. And then when we saw Microsoft, and we realized that there is a lot of things within your ecosystem. And actually, we just saw the users. It was like dollar signs in our eyes. It's like, wow, there's 1 billion users that we actually have as a main target group. Then we kind of put things together and saw that this is the place that we should base the market on.
So you talked about trial and error and failure. Why is this important for startups?
When we got this idea, we believed in it. So we launched and we thought, yeah, everyone will just come to our service. We will have this take up from the day one. And there was actually no one knocking on the door. Starting from there and then seeing what's wrong, what do we do wrong. So I think mistakes is a way of progressing all the time.
I'd like to know, how is your collaboration with Microsoft so far?
It's great. We got a lot of help from Sweden, and they pushed us internationally. And then since like almost 2 years that we've been working with people in Redmond and on the corp side, and of course the Microsoft Ventures as well. So we have weekly calls. We are in Redmond every other week. I think we are so well taken care of. And I also think that we are in an early stage of what Microsoft will offer to the startup world, because we also see that the Office Store and everything is developing into something really big. what I see and what we see as a vision together is that people will use images and imagery as a global language because it's so universal.
What advice would you have for people starting up a new business, Henrik?
Try. You need to be brave, and you need to have a mix of people that are creative, but you also need to have your vision in some sense. You need to know where you hopefully will earn money. You need to know where you fit in. So I think having that dream is the most important thing. Having that dream that makes you kind of, even if you got beaten down and you do some great big mistakes, you rise up and you start walking again, because that vision is so big and it's so important for you. I think that's finding that and combining that with a lot of different competences is a very good beginning.